We are backstage. We have a little less than a minute to go here before we are live on River West Radio. So just stand by for a moment here as we get all the pieces in place. So you can always listen live on River West Radio at their website, riverwestradio.com. There's that listen live button right on there. Listen live anytime, but feel free to share that around so that we can grow and grow and grow. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we are a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability has a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. Tonight is a very special night. We have a wonderful guest joining us that I am so happy to be able to introduce. So we have a wonderful gentleman by the name of Eric Englert. I want to make sure I've got your name correct as I'm speaking it here. Sorry. He is a man of expertise with safeguarding nuclear facilities and has orchestrated vast site developments, transforming tangible landscapes into marvels of engineering. But it was his personal trial in 2015 with the illness of his father that unveiled an immense potential of his skills beyond civil engineering. With discovering his profound application of his leadership, engineering, and design prowess, navigating his family through these turbulent waters of innovation and love, this epiphany reshaped his path. So with his father's recovery, Eric's return to his engineering role felt incomplete, and it sparked a leap into this entrepreneurship and into a very noble mission to infuse lives with love and abundance and to enhance effectiveness in companies and organizations. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Eric in so we can learn more about what he all is about here. I'm so excited to give a chance to talk with you, Eric. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Doing excellent. Thanks for this opportunity.
So tell us a bit more. Give us a bit picture here. I know you're coming to us out of North Carolina, so we're so happy to have you joining us here from a distance. Have you actually, I got to ask the question, have you ever been in Milwaukee?
No,
So we
I've
are
never
glad
even
to
been
have,
in Wisconsin.
oh my goodness. Okay, so that got to put that on your bucket list because it's a pretty cool area up here. But tell us a bit more about you, Eric.
Sure. So I'm a licensed professional engineer, and I love when people give me problems to solve, right? An engineer. And what I particularly like is breaking things down into the simplest, easiest components. I'm a big fan of the 5 minute exercise because there's a chance someone might do something for 5 minutes. And that's just what I build everything I do inside of is simple, easy, fun in 5 minutes at a time.
That's honestly, that is so brilliant. I love that. Take things down to some basics. So by trade, I'm actually in the science field. I work at a university, and so I'm all about lab procedures, right? I'm a techie kind of person. I'm a total lab geek. And so when you said that, it's like, okay, I see where you're headed here. I love this. So how did you come to this? How did this all kind of come together for you?
Yeah, so I was an engineering team leader of 16 engineers working on the Vogtle nuclear power plant construction project, and that was uh, earlier, 2012 to 2015ish. And my dad got ill. It's kind of like what you're saying, and he ended up in intensive care. And long story short, he ended up in a wheelchair out of that experience. And the world's not built for people in wheelchairs. And he was living in
Right.
an apartment, and a lot of things didn't work. And I was staying with my family, my mom and dad, kind of helped them out. And I was watching him one day try and do his pills. He'd been doing his pills for his whole life. And he's doing it kind of up here, a little bit barely able to see. And he'd knock every once in a while, he'd knock one of the little bottles over and they'd fly everywhere. And it was very difficult for him. And as I was watching this, I was like, well, how how can we intentionally design a solution to make this easy? So from talking to my dad, we had a table that could go up and down, like one of those ones in a hospital when you're at the bed. And we lowered it as far down and we put all the medicines there. And he was able to do anything he wanted, but he could see it. And that one minor change, like he never would have thought to do. I wasn't thinking of it until I saw him. And I was already starting to look at how to design solutions to problems. And I think most of us just end up doing things the way we do them, however that is, without really stopping for a moment. And I find it works best with other people is how could we make this easier or better?
That is such a perfect question to ask because I know when you're used to doing something and you just why do you do it that way? Well, we've always done it that way, right? So having a fresh set of eyes take a look at it and coming up with questions and different perspective, literally a fresh set of eyes can get that whole new perspective on it that can be that tweak that is going to make all the difference. So now you were talking about like the 5 minute piece there. So tell me a little bit more about how that came all about.
Yeah, so it started with so I created a business, living the design life, and it's all inside of really at this point is for people to fulfill on their passions and express them. And but when I started, which was with my dad in 2015, I was noticing that a lot of people who were older had a lot of things that they had to handle, but are very easy if you handle them earlier, like in their 40s and 50s. Like there's no reason they couldn't be. And then when you need them later, they're just sitting there waiting. So where I started kind of the 5 minute thing was what if I could create a calendar, 365 days of 5 minute exercises to get someone in their 40s or 50s ready and prepare all those different documents that people might need later on in life. And I never actually created that calendar, but that's kind of what started the thought of someone might do a 5 minute exercise. If we said it was an hour, maybe an hour 5 times, it's unlikely. But I say it this way spring cleaning doesn't last. But if you do a 5 minute cleaning each day, it never gets to that point where you need a spring cleaning. Um, so that's kind of where it started. And I've been finding more and more from working with different people is people like 5 minutes. You you might be able to do something in 5 minutes. And it's shocking how much can get done in 5 minutes when I'm intentional.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm sitting here thinking about all the ways that I will be using this. Because you're right, for 5 minutes. And sometimes I can imagine then too. It's like, okay, I'm going to start on this. I'm going to work for 5 minutes on it. And if things are going well, you might not stop after five then, you can keep working on it. But sometimes that is the piece that personally I get hung up on that where like I feel like it's going to take such a big amount of time. I can't carve a huge amount of time out to do a project, to do whatever the thing is. But to just take it in 5 minute chunks like that and say, okay,
Mhm.
5 minutes, devote to this for 5 minutes, go. I can totally see that. And I'm sorry, I'm distracting myself because I'm thinking of all the different areas, even at work, with the students I work with, to be able to say, hey,
Mhm.
find something, even if it's a 5 minute piece, just do something intentional for 5 minutes and imagine the difference it's going to make. I, that is,
Mhm.
it's in its simplicity. It's brilliant. I love that. So
Yeah,
tell
thanks.
me something. Where have you used that then? Where have you helped? It sounds like you've helped others apply that concept. So tell me a little more about that. Have you had some success stories along the way that you could share?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things I've done is I've worked with people kind of after the calendar. About a year or two later, COVID happened and I was sitting home and I designed how to write a book in 5 minutes at a time and just using reverse engineering it. And the 5 minute thing I found with certain people, it was just getting started. I can do 5 minutes and then they never stopped. Like they kind of moved past that first step barrier that like, let's get moving. But what do I do? Well, what's the next smallest possible thing? So I've been working with people to write book, create content. Some people create courses, um, and it's all built in this 5 minutes at a time. And figure out where you can get 5 minutes. So you might be able to do it. Log into this Zoom 5 minutes early, and you've got your 5 minutes. And as you practice and play with it, I've been finding more and more people are producing a lot in 5 minutes. There's a saying from Einstein. Well, part of what people don't really understand about some of the Einstein stuff he was doing is he was talking about time. He was very much into time in addition to physics. And one of the things he talks about with time is time alters based on who we're being. And the example of that is anytime you're about to go on vacation and you're working, like you work in an office, the stuff you get done in the 2 or 3 days before going on vacation is more than I finish in like a month normally. And it can be a game. You can have some fun with 5 minutes. Like, what could I get done in 5 minutes? Well, let's see. And some of the bigger things we do can be broken down into smaller pieces until it's so easily actionable that I found a lot of people don't have as much overwhelm because, oh, I just got to do that, or I only have to do 5 minutes. That's like people can grasp that. If you said, well, I got to get some big goal, where do I begin? So some of what I do also is work with people to break down their goal into smaller parts until it's so actionable that they can't help themselves but do something. Um, so that's a big part of what I do is just what do you want? And to say it, I'm not a big fan of the SMART goals thing. I think SMART goals are stupid. I actually wrote a small article on that. Sometimes you just want to be happier. And how do you quantify that? I found a lot of people find some of those kinds of things difficult. But how can we get you closer and closer, a little bit at a time, to happier? And that's what I have a lot of fun doing. And we'll be giving a gift to everyone, a short video, and you'll be able to play with this concept a little bit of 5 minutes at a time. And it'll show you through it. But I just find it's more fun and easier. Like, because I'm an engineer, I don't know if anyone else has been around an engineer. I tend to overanalyze and sometimes complicate when there's no good reason. So I've been finding that breaking things down into 5 minutes keeps me clearer and gives me the next simple action.
Yeah, and that's again to take it as you were saying, the reverse engineering to take something that's so big that in even whatever that is, it could be anything, right? Like you were even just saying with spring cleaning about if you let it go, all of a sudden it's a big job. If you can just keep at it, just that 5 minutes a day, what a difference that makes. And that's such a practical application for literally everybody.
Mhm.
So, do you have, actually, I'm seeing we do have one other person that's joined us here. I want to go ahead and get her on and bring Marianne into the conversation here. So, Marianne of Waikiki is a great friend of the show. She is somebody that I've known for several years now. And Marianne, I wonder if you want to come on in and say a quick hello and remind everybody who you are. So, just give her a moment here to unmute.
Aloha, Milwaukee. Thank you
How
so
you
much,
doing
Sue, for
tonight?
having me on here. Well, I'm doing wonderful. I am in another foreign country tonight, Sue. I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh my goodness, you're country
Yes.
hopping. I love it. We're
I'm
international.
country hopping. Yes. Sunday night, I was in Mexico City, and now I am in Vancouver, Mexico, sharing the Acts of Kindness series. I got to travel up here, and I'm going to be up here for a couple of weeks and helping a friend caretake a house and her husband while she's in Croatia hiking with 12 women. How cool
Oh
is
my
that?
goodness. That is very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a nice weather change here and nice lake and greenery. So I'm going to explore Canada here. I met a lovely lady on the ride up. Her name is Aura. She has a new product called Aura Glow. It's a bee essential oil made from her father's bee farm. So I'm going to go check that out. So that's going to be a
Interesting.
journey. And I am making arrangements also too to join Leon McLaughlin in Seattle, Washington beginning of October. He's doing a fundraiser on Saturday, October 5th at the Eagles Club with the Real Deal Band. And I'm going to take the bus or the train 2 hours down from Vancouver to Seattle to join him. I'm going to stay with Captain Mary and Jack, who we met in Ensenada a year and a half ago, sailing from San Diego to Cabo San Lucas. We met them in Ensenada. They live in Seattle. And Leon ran into her on our birthdays. So it's going to be great fun to have a reunion, to take care of business with Leon as we're working with some private equity investors to open up several locations, I mean, multiple locations, so we can multiply the acts of kindness with the books, the coloring books, the puppets, and maybe a puppet perfume. How cool is that? Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's the universe is putting us all together. And I'm really excited for that. So I had a great interview with Jay Stoyan this morning. And we made some promo videos with the books and me doing sign language. Just want to share with you too. I shared it with Jay as, coming into another country and with customs. I have a hearing loss, so it was more of a challenge, not only in Mexico, reading lips when I'm bilingual. And there was a thunderstorm, which, makes you a little bit more crazy. The pressure changes. It's really hard to hear. And got off the plane. And this is the first time. Now, I haven't been flying, don't get me wrong, but I had seen two men trading interpreters signing a welcome to the Canadian airport in sign language. And there was 3 steps you had to take through customs and Xeroxing your passport and claiming or not claiming any items and where to pick up your baggage. There was 3 steps. They did a beautiful job. I even asked the security guard if I could take a videotape of it so I could share it with you guys. And Jay's interested in seeing it. And I wanted to kind of compare if it was, there's different signs with Canadian Sign Language and American Sign Language, but was pretty much similar in those videos, and they did a well job. So we hope they multiply that around to other airports around the world. So I'm here, and thank you so much for having me on the show today. So how to get the Acts of Kindness series books is on www.actsofkindnessseries.com. That's actsofkindnessseries.com. And all classroom teachers in United States of America can receive copies of the books from an organization called donorschoose.org. They've raised millions of dollars for teachers in the United States, and it's back to school. And next month is October, and it's anti-bullying month. So we are going to be gifting the Waikiki School for the Deaf the books, Rabbit Acts of Kindness, No Bully, Puppets, and a water unit from Leon McLaughlin. Now, I just sent him the PayPal uh, funds for a water unit, which is $150 for him to gift it to the school because, Sue, we won the Awesome Grant Foundation in July. And they give out $1,000 a month to projects. So you guys can do the same. And I just wanted to share those websites with you. Wow, how easy it is. So Santa Papa John now is doing TikTok, reading the coloring books, showing them. And we also have a YouTube channel where you can meet the characters, such as Chelsea, the courageous sign language chicken, Eve, the finger spelling bumblebee, Greta Gobble on the golf course, and Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab. And one last thing, Sue, is how do you get to so go out and play? You get to go to the Apple App Store and you get to see the 10 Apple games of online courses of the Acts of Kindness series books. Now, the books are about ocean cleanup, anti-bullying, and sign language again. We're on the social emotional learning curriculum. And so go out and play today. Thank you so much, Sue. Mahalo. I'm Marianne of Waikiki from Vancouver, Canada. Eh?
Awesome. You picked that up already. I love it. Well, and Marianne, I want you to meet Eric. Eric is joining us tonight out of North Carolina. And Eric, I wonder if you want to just give a quick intro so that Marianne knows who you are as well.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
do
Eric,
that.
you want to go
Uh,
ahead. Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
I'm American Glart. I'm a licensed professional engineer. I've worked in the nuclear industry, worked in the solar industry, and long story short is I started working with people to express their passions. And it's like you were just doing, Marianne, is once someone's passionate and they get talking, you can't shut them up, right?
It's,
Like you want, and then I get enrolled in like, I want to listen to it and I want to be passionate. So I've been working with a lot of different people and how to express that passion through either writing books, creating courses, being speakers, and how to fulfill on that through creating simple, easy, execute plans also. So that's a little bit about me, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
I think you guys are
A,
have that, yeah, you guys have that similarity piece there where because yeah, Marianne has found that passion with what she's done with these books and with her whole series, and you're in that position where you're helping people to find that passion and to be able to do that in bite-sized pieces. So it's a such
yeah,
a huge thing to be able to do, and uh with so I actually was trying to dig back and figure out how it was that we had all connected because we actually did not figure out how the connection originally happened here, that Eric has come into the circle here with what we are all working on. But I find it really interesting that one thing that has connected with us with a lot of folks across the country is through the Happy Neighborhood Project. And I know you made that comment earlier about happiness. So, are you familiar with Happy Neighborhood Project, Eric?
no,
Not.
not yet.
So that is something that we should introduce you to as well then, because there are um such a huge number of people that are looking to network and to connect with others. And it really is, it's the happiest place for networking anywhere, and literally
Mhm.
across the world, because we do spread far and wide. That's how we originally met Marianne. Oh, gosh, that's what I'm trying to think back, like 4 years ago, I think at this point. But so I know, Eric, you had made that comment about finding happiness. How did that all come about with what you are working with? Where did that piece kind of spark in your corner?
Yeah, well, what I found is people are inherently passionate. Like we're built that way.
Hmm.
And most of the time, we think we have to inspire somebody. I've been talking with a lot of different people. It's like, oh, how do I get them inspired? You don't. I don't think you do. I think that it, like I can give you some space and maybe ask some questions, but in the conversation, it's natural to start getting inspired when talking with. I've been finding with other people, particularly when it's something you're interested in, like, and there's all kinds of topics, and everyone's different. So that's where it's kind of I've been having the most fun is having people getting to listen to what they're passionate about. And kind of like what you're saying too, is what I also do sometimes is I do small brainstorming sessions with people. I record it and I love Einstein. He always says the coolest stuff, I think. And he said, the level of thinking that created the problem cannot solve the problem. If it could, you wouldn't have that problem, by the way. But so sometimes there's like I'm in a box and I can't quite reach the top. So like I'm reaching up, I can't reach the top of that 10-foot box. But if someone stuck a hand down, I could get out of the box. And I think more and more as we gather together and start talking about what we're passionate about and what are you up to? What do you want? Like you want happier? Well, what's it look like? It's very hard to define for many people. I know it is for me. What do I want? Although I want to be a world traveler and go to Croatia, but the next one's going to be either Italy or Israel, um, just for the record. Um, but there's a lot of opportunities to talk with people, and two or three people together will come up with such better ideas than me in my own head. And that's another part of the fun. I like having fun. A good friend of mine, his name's Tim Spellman, said, having fun is more fun than not having fun. And I've been really playing with that. Like, it is. So why not
Yes.
like talk to you? And I mean, between the three of us, we could keep going for hours here, but we only got a couple more minutes, it looks like. Darn.
Yeah, with what you were saying about inspiring people or finding their passion, I totally can. I can relate to that so much because I know, like me personally, I love to water ski. If I start talking about what we do with water skiing and with the show skiing, right away. Sometimes I can see it. I'm like, okay, I gotta back it off again because I'm bubbling over. I get too excited because I bubble out when I'm talking about that because I love it. And so you're right. You don't have to try to inspire somebody if you are talking from your heart, from your passion, from some place of inspiration like that. It just automatically clicks with other people. They can feel that. And so, do you have? I want to give you a chance to share if you have any stories that you want to share with us, anything to relate with people you've worked with. I know you've commented some on that. I would love to hear stories. So, is that something?
Yeah.
Um, Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of different ones. So I've been leading workshops with a particular conference. And I've been doing that for about a year and a half. We're just starting up our next cycle of 15 workshops. They're any one of them, they're all standalone. So you don't have to come to all 15. That back to that 5 minute thing versus 15 hours. You'd kill me, right? 15 hours, I gotta sit and listen to Eric. Right. But what I've been finding were there's a lot of different people. One person has been talking about she's been converting to Judaism. And as she's sharing it more and more, like the beauty of it, and like many other religions, there's so much beauty in it that gets missed. And she was telling about some of the stories about some of the holidays and how she was learning like where did they start in Judaism because she was converting to Orthodox Judaism, so a little bit of a high standard there. And as she was doing that, she started um, she's written different articles, but she's also started writing a film and she's been scripting it over time. And it's kind of her journey through uh, her conversion to Orthodox Judaism. And and it's really in the sharing of what the story is. Like you were saying, the story is the fun part. Um, and just listening to like the kind of the funny things that happen along the way. They weren't always so funny to her or at that time. Sometimes something's funny a week later, though. Or if it happened to someone else, it could be funny, but not to me. So she's been creating that bit over time, but she's also done articles. And there's another person I've worked with, Mary, who's uh, loves blackberry wine, and she had done some YouTube videos of making that. And what she started doing was she found she loved writing, and now she's been writing articles. She researches things and has funny perspectives on it. Like she doesn't like Trump, but you know, so it goes into like all these different things of different people. And how do you express it?
And that is one thing I absolutely love this conversation we've had. Eric, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Marianne, as always, with all that you guys bring to us, we really do thank you.
Yeah, thanks.